I'm going to can all these tomatoes that I have. I thought about different ways to do it. Well, I guess either pressure canning or water bath canning, and I decided to pressure can because um, it takes like 40 to 45 minutes or so, water bath, and then you have to, heat the water up, keep it boiling the whole time while you're doing things, and then put them in the water bath and let them cool down. And I have a lot to do, and it's going to take a while. Pressure canning, I only have to do it for 10 minutes, and I still have to heat up the canner and cool it down, but I think it'll take a lot less time than boiling and a lot less effort. I can start out with, room temperature everything to start out with, and it's also really hot, so I don't want to have my house full of boiling water for hours. But I'm also not going to peel my tomatoes. I know that really seems strange, and I don't peel a lot of my stuff, but it's always usually for the same reason. About over 90 some percent of the flavonols that are in tomatoes, the nutrients that are actually but they're finding are beneficial and anti-cancer and things are in the peel. So I don't want to lose that. And I know it makes sauces and things look weird because it doesn't dissolve or anything and it's floating around, but I'm the only one that's going to be eating these tomatoes really, and it doesn't bother me at all. Like I said, I want that nutrition, especially in this day and age. I think it's important to get that nutrition. Um, I also want to mention about acidifying my tomatoes. I have to do this not just only because tomatoes are less acidic than they used to be, but because I'm canning from tomatoes that had blight. You need to acidify your tomatoes because tomatoes that suffer from blight and things are actually less acidic than they would be normally. But normally, like I said, all tomatoes are less acidic than they used to be, and so they all need to be acidified anyway. You don't really want to use diseased tomatoes themselves that are gross. Things like that. And I was a little worried about pressure canning too because I've pressure canned fruit before, like plums and peaches, and it obliterates them and just makes them mush. But tomatoes I'm gonna probably use to be sauce and mush and other things anyway, and it just really doesn't matter to me if it saves time and effort and energy because there's just so much to do at this time of year. And I think that if this doesn't turn out, I'll have plenty of other tomatoes to do a different way. So I'm gonna try it out. Washed all my tomatoes. I've washed all my jars and my lids and my seals, and I have my citric acid. I have everything cleaned and ready to go. So the only thing I'm going to do now is I'm just going to chop up my tomatoes and chop off the ends and any little pieces that I think look gross like this. I'm not gonna eat that and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back. Okay, I have my tomatoes all cut up here, and I have my jars here all ready. I'm going to go ahead and add citric acid to the jars. Since these are pints, I'm going to use a quarter teaspoon. After I add the citric acid, I will just stuff the tomatoes in there. And I'll put them in there so that they don't go any higher than around half an inch. That way, when I put water in, I'll fill it up to half an inch. I'm also going to add a little bit of canning salt, probably an eighth of a teaspoon. Okay, I have them all full of tomatoes. I packed them in there pretty good. And now I'm just going to take hot water and fill it up to here, which is half an inch. I have them all filled up to half inch mark. I debubbled them and then filled up a little bit more because some of them went down. And now I'm just going to put a lid on them using the Tattler lid. So I have them sitting in some hot water here. All you have to do is just put the seal around it, and then it's just like a regular ball lid. So I'm going to go ahead and put lids on all of these. Put them in the canner. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on and then heat it up and let it start venting. This is great because it's only going to be a 10-minute processing time. I have the lid on, and now I'm just going to wait until it starts steaming out of here, and then I will count it down for 10 minutes. Okay, it's steaming. I'm going to go ahead and time it for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put the weight on, and then I'm just going to wait till it comes up to pressure, and then I'm going to wait and count for 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, and now I just have to wait until the pressure comes all the way down, and then and this will drop, and then I can take this off and then wait about another 10 minutes or so, and then I can take the lid off and take them out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take these out here and tighten down the lid, see what they're like. I'm going to go ahead and get them out of here. All out, I tighten them down, and they do look quite obliterated, like the plums and the peaches were that I did. But they'll settle down. That one looks like it already might be. Well, hopefully it didn't come unsealed or something. But I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process with these ones here. Water, because I'm going to start with cooler jars. So I'm starting out with some fresh water, and I'm going to go ahead and put the lids on, and then I will be back. Hey, now I just have to wait until they cool down tomorrow, and I can find out if they're sealed. I'm pretty excited. They all actually sealed. So I have 16 jars of tomatoes. I use these removable labels because of the Tattler lids that I use, so because I don't want to write on them. And they come off really, really easy. Let me see if I have a package to show you. The labels, see, they say they're removable because you can peel them right off. As long as you don't get them wet. If you get them wet, like you try to wash the jar and then peel it off, it sticks and it won't come off very easily at all. Otherwise, they just come right off. So if you're wondering how to label your jars, and these are really cheap, they're only like $1 for, 72 of them. I think that's a pretty good deal or something like that. So, but yeah, now I have tomatoes that I can use to cook with this winter. I don't know if I'll make sauce or something, but leaving them whole this way, I can use them for lots of different things, and I can just blend them up or do whatever. Popped off on its own necessity. They really are removable. You have to really put them on there. So I did some of them that are green. I didn't want to do an empty canner, and so I only had like 4 or 5 in my second load, and I wanted to do like the last 3, and so I just put in some that were still slightly yellowy colored, but it's fine, and I will eat them. I just labeled them green so that I wouldn't like forget that I did that and look at them and be like, something wrong with these tomatoes, they're weird looking, and then not eat them. So I labeled that I put some in there that were slightly green. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I thought this one here wasn't going to seal just because of the way it looked, but it sealed just fine. I think what happened is I just had some siphoning. Well, I did obviously with some of these, or the tomatoes just shrank so much after cooking that much space is left. I don't know either way. It could be because all of them kind of look about that level from both batches. So either both batches siphoned exactly the same amount out of each jar, pretty much, it looks like. Or just when the tomatoes shrank after cooking, that's just how it looks. 16 pints, which will do an awful lot of meals for me and an awful lot of things. I was going to do, like I said, I thought about doing water bath, and I'm really glad I did pressure canning. This was a lot faster, a lot easier, and it made a lot less steam and heat, I think, in my kitchen than heating up water and trying to keep water boiling for 45 minutes and then doing it again for another 45 minutes because I was doing 2 batches. So I think that would have just been a whole lot of water and a whole lot of steam that I would not have wanted to deal with. So I'm really glad that I got a pressure can and I decided to do it this way. I have a big container that I can do probably about 14 at the most, I think, water bath if I use regular mouth, but that's like really pushing it. But most of my jars left, I think, are wide mouth jars, my pint jars, because I really like the wide mouth pint jars because they're easier for me to clean and use, so that's why I'll have more of them. The only problem is you can't fit as many of them in a canner, so you have to do more canner loads of things. But I am really glad that I pressure canned them. I was a little worried that they would turn into like a tomato paste almost floating around in there. But they actually look pretty good, I think. I don't think they look that bad at all. Maybe it's because I left the skin on to help hold them together. I don't know. But like I said, I leave the skin on too, just because, for one, I'm not spending my time peeling all those tomatoes and blanching them. I know you can put them in the freezer and then take them out and peel them, and it's a lot easier that way. But I just don't want to do that. And like I said, 90-some% of the flavonols, the nutrients that they're finding are really beneficial to you and plants. They're in the skin of the tomato. So I really, really want to consume that. Like I said, nowadays it's really important to me to stay healthy and to, if I'm going to eat something, I might as well try to get the maximum amount of nutrition out of it as I can, I think. So just thought I'd share. Canning some tomatoes because I hadn't done it before, and I think it's really kind of cool now that I have tomatoes on my own.